Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party of Canada are a sinking ship, and Canada is in, I guess there could be reason to say that Canada's in a state of emergency because affordability is just through the roof. It's insane. Folks, going to the grocery store and buying items that you can carry in your hands should not cost more than $40, but for some reason it costs over $100, $150. People they think that it's just BS that we're spewing this on video saying the cost of living is too crazy, too high. Let me know down in the comments below if you think, the viewers, that the cost of living in Canada is absurd, is insane. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I want to encourage everyone to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. And I hope you consider turning post notifications. It's that little bell icon that shows up. It just adds a layer of insurance to make sure you can actually be notified of upcoming videos. Now, on House of Canada, my additional channel, I've said that once that reaches 100,000 subscribers, I'll be going to Ottawa to watch Question Period live in person. Well, we've done that. We're actually at 101,000 subscribers. So bravo and thank you, everybody who has subscribed not only to this channel but also to House of Canada. Now, while I'm in Ottawa, I've talked to a few people and I'm going to try to see Justin Trudeau and just talk to him while I'm there, okay? But I'm only going to do that if this channel gets to 400,000 subscribers. We are very close, and there's a little bit of time before we go to Ottawa. So if that's not an incentive, then I don't know what is. Now, you're going to want to stick around for the full video, or as much as you can bear, because there's quite a few things that we're going to be talking about. There's new announcements by the feds about renter policies, and there's also Elon Musk who's chiming in on the state of Canada, and Justin Trudeau obviously does not like that. So again, you're going to want to stick around for the full video. And for those who aren't aware, I do have an additional, I got lots of channels. They're all listed on this channel, but I have an additional one called Mr. Sunshine Baby Extra. I'd highly recommend watching or subscribing to that one as well, because that just covers all of the smaller stories that I don't post here, right? I'm only posting limited videos on Mr. Sunshine. So if you want to see everything that's happening in Canada, you got to be subbed to all the channels. Now, no wonder Justin Trudeau is in a full state of panic. Look at these projected polls. You need 170 seats for a majority. The Conservatives are still at a whopping 210. It doesn't even matter how many coalitions Justin Trudeau tries to make with the NDP or even the Bloc Québécois. Moving forward, the Conservatives are just under a landslide projected victory. Odds winning the most seats, Conservatives still at 99%, Liberals 1%, NDP 1%. Odds of outcome, majority government, folks, 99%, and minority 1%. This is incredible. It means that there's going to be some actual changes that are potentially actual changes that are made here in Canada. And as you're going to see in this video, boy, oh boy, do we need them. All right, so Justin Trudeau here says the government has spent more than $100 million housing immigrants at hotels in Niagara Falls from February 2023 to February 2024. That is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. You can move to Canada through immigration and you're posted in hotels at taxpayers' expense for $100 million. Now, I don't know if other countries are doing this, but that just seems like a lot of money to be spent on something that shouldn't be at the cost of taxpayers. I don't think. I mean, maybe I'm being ignorant, but let me know down in the comments if you think that that's an absurd amount of money. When you look at the comments, it's confirmation bias. Why bring them here in the first place? That's okay. Imagine spending that on affordable housing. I hope somebody gets a nice carbon rebate from all the money being spent. This is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, people are just outraged at what Justin Trudeau is doing, especially when he says things like this. Prime Minister Trudeau was questioned about whether he would bear the responsibility for the housing crisis. Yeah, we all know where this is going.
In your press release today, you say that renters feel like the deck is stacked against them. Do you bear responsibility for that feeling after being in power the last 8 years?
I think we've seen how important it is to support young people who are at the center of our economy and the center of Canada's success in the 21st century. And yet, we've seen time and time again international issues, whether it's inflation or interest rates or war or destabilized supply chains or a pandemic or climate change, knock young people about. We need to meet them where we are. Yes, we have invested massively in housing over the past years, but there is a need to do more. There is something fundamentally unfair about the fact that young people or renters pay $2,000 a month for rent Whereas someone paying $2,000 in their mortgage payments gets credit for that, gets to build their credit score, gets to access more financing from the banks. But if you pay $2,000 every month in rent, or even more in many cases, that doesn't count towards anything. That's not taken into account in evaluating you as someone who can be offered a mortgage and a pathway to home ownership. That's something that the number of renters increasing across the country, and quite frankly, the raise in rents across the country is requiring us to do. So that's why the heart of this announcement is about making sure we're focused on fairness. Fairness for renters, fairness for young people, fairness for the future. We're bringing forward a number of measures today to focus on renters, but over the next weeks, we're going to be talking about all the different things we're doing to bring in fairness for young people and for all Canadians.
Fairness. Justin Trudeau has the audacity to say fairness when he's gouging people. He's absolutely destroyed our economy, and people are living in a perpetual state of not being able to afford simple things. And now this new bill that he's talking about, we're going to take a look at that right now, where the Renters' Bill of Rights among new measures in upcoming budget, says Justin Trudeau. And when you look at the comments about CTV's post here on X, every province already has a Tenancy Act. This only means one thing. He's after your property rights. The regulation of property, dwellings, and contracts are all the exclusive jurisdictions of the provinces. Anything of this nature is so blatantly unconstitutional for the feds to involve themselves in that it's not even funny to talk about. Not that Trudeau has ever cared. Now, before we look into this story a little bit, I do want to ask you guys, do you think that it's good or do you think that it's bad that the federal government is getting involved with renting rights? Now, there's a huge problem, right? You can go, and if you have a good amount of money saved up, and if you're looking at buying houses for investments, and you can put a significant amount down, you could probably get a mortgage for like $1,500, $2,000, right? I'm talking like a big lump sum. And if you're a high income earner, then you'd get approved to carry a decent amount. And in Canada, you can have a landlord paying, $1,500 or $2,000 a month in rent or for the mortgage, and you can charge like $3,200 for rent if that's the current going rate. Now, I think that that's what the federal government is going after, and I do think there needs to be something that's maybe done on a provincial level, but having the federal government involved, it seems like everything the federal government touches doesn't turn to gold. Actually, quite opposite. It just hurts Canadians. But let's take a look at what this is about here. Here's what Trudeau says about the upcoming federal budget with that will offer renters.
View of what to expect in next month's federal budget. At least part of the economic blueprint will target renters and young Canadians whose support for the Liberals has dropped. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver on the proposed new supports and whether they will help.
Just under 3 weeks from Budget Day, and already the Liberal government is signaling young people and renters will be prioritized.
It's about changing the rules of a game in a way that meets young people where they are and responds to their hopes and dreams for the future.
In a bid to attract millennials and Gen Z voters whose support has dropped in recent polls, the Prime Minister today revealed rental help is on the way in the form of a new Canadian Renters' Bill of Rights, a new legal aid fund meant to protect tenants against rent evictions and bad landlords, and a change to ensure a credit score takes on-time rent payments into consideration.
So rent payments included in credit checks for mortgage applications. Now, that seems to be something that's kind of controversial because I think a lot of people agree and maybe some people disagree. I don't know where I stand. I now own a home, but including adding rent to your credit, that on the surface level, I don't know. Maybe I'm ignorant or I'm uneducated in that, but it seems like, is that a good idea? I'll ask you guys. Instead of providing my opinion, is that a good idea? Please let me know down in the comments. Maybe there's some financial people. Maybe there's people that work in banks. Maybe you're, older than me and you have a little bit more history and knowledge in this. But I'm not fully sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Just this one point here: rent payment. The last one on the screen: rent payments included in credit checks for mortgage applications. I don't know, but please let me know down in the comments what you guys think about that
when applying for a mortgage.
The renter bills of rights piece, that's completely outside of federal jurisdiction. that strikes me as something that is more about kind of political virtue signaling rather than policy seriousness. I can't imagine that that'll actually get anywhere.
More renters means more rental units need to be built, and the CMHC says that shift is happening. Last year, 137,915 new units were built in Canada's 6 largest cities, and for the first time, 42% of all new apartments were built as rentals.
There's huge demand for rentals. I think single detached is just coming out of reach. It's becoming unaffordable. It's practically impossible.
Do you know why it's becoming unaffordable? Because you are not building more. It's pretty freaking simple. If you stop building, the demand for it is still there, but the price skyrockets. But if you make them, if you're pumping them out as fast as Mr. Sunshine Baby pumps out content, then the whole market will just restabilize. Oh my goodness, man. I mean, I didn't go to school for that, but that's just kind of common sense. Am I dumb, or does that make sense?
To build those in city centers.
But while the number of purpose-built rentals is surging, single-family home construction is down, and overall, new home construction is stagnant.
We've had some policy wins at all levels of government. You know, we are starting to see some reforms, some positive tax changes, but those aren't enough to make up for the sort of global economic conditions of slower growth and higher interest rates.
At least
these people are just so weird and delusional, or maybe I'm delusional and I'm missing something here, right? But it sounds like they acknowledge the problem. Single family homes are being built less, more apartments and large infrastructures are being built for rent specific. You can't purchase, but you can rent only. But now they're saying that, there's less people wanting single family homes. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. All you're building is bigger infrastructure. It doesn't make any sense. If you built more homes, people will be able to buy them because the market will restabilize. I feel like I'm being gaslit, and it makes me angry, and maybe I'm dumb, maybe I'm ignorant, maybe I'm uneducated, but I feel like I'm right on this. I feel like if they made more single family houses instead of living by the philosophy of you will own nothing and be happy by literally just making rental units in populated areas, it's absurd. And I feel like I'm losing my mind. And then you have people like Elon Musk chime in, and he kind of confirms my mindset a little bit, and it makes me feel like, yeah, okay, I'm being gaslit, and I may be dumb, I may be uneducated, right? Sure, maybe all those boxes are checked, but I'm right about this. I'm right, or at least a little bit right. That's how I feel. So let's take a look here. End Wokeness, a massive account on X said shock poll. Trudeau and his Liberal Party have fallen to third place with 39 seats. In first place with a commanding 182 seat projected lead is Pierre Poilievre's Conservative Party, but we know that that's actually not the case. It's actually 210. 182 is actually the bottom line, and today, as of recording this video, it's 183. Projected lead is Pierre Poilievre's Conservative Party. A national election poll also shows Pierre demolishing with a landslide 25% lead. Canada is on track for a huge upgrade. And this is where Elon Musk chimes in. High time this happened. The current administration in Canada is desperately trying to delay an election as long as possible. And that comment on the tweet almost has half of the engagement. So many people, hundreds of thousands, millions of people actually agree with Elon Musk that Canada needs this to happen. We need a change. Even Clown World chimed in and says, I like him. And of course, this is the very famous interview that put Pierre Poilievre on the map, even more so than what he already was, with an international audience.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological thing.
I never really talk about left or right.
Anyways, I don't
really believe in that.
Okay, a lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
Like who?
I don't know who, but
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so you must know somebody.
Oh, I love this so much.
I'm sure there's some out there. But anyways, the point of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given, you know, not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
What are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a, you know, it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
not
just
sure.
wondering.
I don't know what your question
Okay,
is.
then forget that. Why should Canadians trust you with their vote?
Common sense.
Okay.
Common sense for a change. We're going to make common sense common in this country. We don't have any common sense in the current government. You know, the guy prints $600 billion, grows our money supply by 32% in 3 years. That's growing the money 8 times faster than the economy. No wonder we have the worst inflation in 4 decades. I'm going to cap spending, cut waste, so that we can balance the budget and bring down inflation and interest rates. You'll want to be able to pay your mortgage again? You want to be able to afford rent? Then you have to vote for Pierre Poilievre, because I'm the only one with a common sense plan that will bring back the buying power of your paycheck.
Yeah, and I think most people believe him. And the one thing that liberals hate the most is facts. And when you talk about facts, you talk about numbers. Now, on this channel, I'm not oblivious, right? There's a political bias. I don't think there's very many Trudeau supporters watching Mr. Sunshine Baby or any associated or affiliated channels. However, when it comes to a carbon rebate check, it doesn't matter your political bias. You could be supporting Justin Trudeau. You could be supporting Pierre Poilievre. You could have never voted. It doesn't matter. You get a carbon rebate check based off being Canadian and paying your taxes. And when I've done a poll on Mr. Sunshine Baby 2 days ago, have you ever received a Canadian carbon rebate check? This is on my community tab. 23,000 people have voted. Now, Justin Trudeau is going around saying 8 out of 10 Canadians receive the carbon rebate check. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's lying. The numbers right here show otherwise. 8 out of 10 Canadians are saying that they're not receiving it. 84% have voted no. And you know what? I'll even change my vote to yes, even though I haven't received a carbon rebate check. 8 out of 10 Canadians are still saying that they have not received the carbon rebate check. And this is a publicly available poll. If you want to go find it, just go on the community tab and you can see it for yourself. I dislike it. Now, look, maybe those 23,000 people haven't, and the next 110,000 people have received the carbon rebate check. Who knows? But a political bias does not determine whether you get a carbon rebate check or not. It's based off of paying your taxes and just being here in Canada. So it seems like we're being gaslit by our own government. And I don't think I'm the only one that thinks that. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't know. I would really hate to see thousands of comments in the comments section saying you are being gaslit. You are wrong. Justin Trudeau is good. The Liberals are good. No, please don't do that. Please don't add to the gaslighting. But let me know down in the comments below if you think you're also being gaslit, because that's if I'm going to go out on a limb, I'm going to say that I feel like that's what they want us to feel. They want us to feel who's they, the government, the news. It's that type of control. They don't want a voice. They certainly don't want Mr. Sunshine Baby reaching 400,000 subscribers. And they certainly don't like House of Canada reaching over 100,000 subscribers, because the reach, the audience, the influence, or whatever you want to call it, is massive. And I'm a little fed up with it. I'm very much fed up with this what seems like propaganda by our own government. But I'd love to know what you guys, the viewers, think down below. Are you also fed up, or are you just along for the ride and saying, yeah, Canada's great, the government is great, nobody is holding me hostage, I am saying everything that I feel is great? Let me know down below. That's where we're going to end today's video, folks. I'd love to know what you guys think about any of the topics that were covered. And of course, on your way out, I'd like to encourage you guys to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already. And if you want a matching hat or a matching sweater, you can find the link down in the description below. I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.